Here we go. Three, two, one, boom. What's up, everybody? It's your coach. And a beautiful Friday. Friday, March 1st. Friday, March 1st. So let's get right to it. I'm not going to be here too long. I want to talk about competitiveness in kids. Competitiveness in kids. And I was in a real interesting situation yesterday. A good buddy of mine who's a great baseball player has his son playing a different sport. And we were talking about, he asked me how important it is for your kid, this guy's kid's in middle school, to play against competitiveness. His kid plays soccer now. So to play against people that are competition that's better. How important is that for your kid? And I am 1000% to my philosophy with this is the more comfortable the family is, meaning the less hassle youth sports becomes to the family, the better it is. And I use the example of him in itself. His dad wasn't a baseball guy, but was an involved dad, loved his family, wanted to help his kid get better in baseball. So he coached his son in the league that was closest to the house. I think in today's day and age, we're really overlooking that, and everybody's looking to play in the best league they can find or they can get to, even if it's an hour away, 2 hour drive, hour there, hour back. And I think that is ruining, number one, the experience, and number two, we're doing that for no reason. Because eventually, if your kid is good enough, they're going to figure out who he is. So once again, eventually, if your kid's good enough, they're going to figure out who he is. They're going to go find him. But for now, it is a big mistake to, on purpose, try to find, especially when they're so young, competitive leagues to where your kid can play. And yes, sometimes there's a coach there, or there's somebody there that's powerful, has connections, that if they see your kid, they're like, oh my God, look, he can play over there. But chances are, unless your kid is one of the better ones or an elite ones, that's not going to happen. Now, there is a benefit, of course, to playing against better competition, to experience that, because that builds your confidence, and it does a lot of things. But you know what builds your confidence also? Playing against not good competition, or at least a competition that's equivalent to you, or even better, just playing in the park that's, or the league or the academy, whatever it is, that's closest to your house. All this travel ball, travel teams, and all this stuff, especially young, is super overrated, super expensive. And unless your kid is now in high school, which I get it completely. If you're a high school kid, I completely understand, because that's where people see you. But here's the beauty. When you're not that guy because you're young. When you're that kid, people are gonna offer you for free. They're gonna say, look, come play with us for free because you're that good. But if you gotta pay to play, and you gotta pay for these uniforms, and you're going out of your way to do that, you're gonna be in trouble. So my personal experience with all this is, keep it simple. Play with the closest academy or closest team to your house and see how it goes. Get feedback from neutral people. Sometimes it has to be a professional that you pay. Get feedback and see what they tell you. You're like, man, I'm wasting a ton of money on this kid, or look, I'm not supporting this guy financially in anything. Does he need more coaching? What do you think I should do? You always try to have a neutral person that you can go to with confidence and say, look, man, here's my situation. What should I do? What do you think is best for my son right now, or my daughter? And for the most part, I believe that the passion comes in the fun of trying to be good. And when your kid gets that, the kid himself is going to ask you for more, and he's going to show it to you in his behavior. Big mistake that a lot of parents make is they get very excited. The kid plays 1 year of whatever sport it is, and immediately they start buying stuff. They start sending them stuff. They start hiring this guy. They start hiring me. They start doing all these things. And then I tell them, I go, look, listen, yes, of course, a guy like me can help. We can guide him. We could do a million things. But it's like a coach. My boy told me yesterday, he's like, man, I need to find a coach that can push him, that can get him fired up. I go, that doesn't exist, man. That doesn't exist, because every coach out there is worried about either their kid or making money on this and moving on with their life. They're not really worried or obsessed about your son or daughter. So the person that has to motivate them, other than themselves, is the parent. So as a parent, you start very early building that trust, building that relationship with your kid, having your son understand or daughter that you have their back, that wow, they really want it. Then that's when you start middle school, almost 8th grade and above, because people are going to tell you, wow, your son's good. A lot of people are going to come try to recruit him, because that's how this works. That's the most important thing, versus the parent being more exciting, because it doesn't work that way. Very rare is your son going to match your passion. But if his passion is here and your passion is down here, that's a real good sign. But if your passion's here and your kid's down here, that's a very bad sign. And you want to try to avoid that at all costs. So how do we avoid that? By introducing them to the sport, by having your kid play to the sport, and then you have super cool conversations. Wait a minute, you want to be good? Perfect. Let me show you what the best are doing, and watch the better kids and show them what they're doing. Sometimes, especially when they're young, they're physically that much better, so they don't have to do much. But majority of the time, you're dealing with kids that are really obsessed with this because they find their passion really young. And like I told my friend, I go, listen, your son doesn't have to be a soccer player, doesn't have to be a tennis player, doesn't have to be a golfer, doesn't have to be a baseball player. Just be a happy dude that's learned how to deal with adversity, that learned how to deal with difficult things without complaining, without blaming an umpire, referee, or anything. Just understanding that this is part of competing. So the key word in competition, I think, is competing. And it doesn't have to be, especially when they're young, against the better talent, because it really doesn't make a difference. What makes the difference is the passion level to deal with the stupid things at all sports, just like everything, all jobs, all sports. There's a lot of difficult things you have to deal with, a lot of frustrations. And if you're passionate about something, nobody has to push you to tell you to do it. A lot of parents want to push passion, and you can't. It doesn't work by buying TrackMan, by buying a simulator, by buying a new bat, new glove, new shoes. Doesn't do that. What it works is them seeing, by competing, by playing, competition, and then inside they go, wait a minute, I want to be good at this. I want to crush this. I want to be a starter. I want to be an all-star. I want to go to this school. I want to be picked to this team. And that's your leverage right there. Once you got them hooked in that, because you've set the tone right away, then you say, man, that's awesome. Here is how I'm going to help you. If you give me this amount of work by yourself during the week, we're going to bring somebody on. And then we're going to see what that person that we bring on is going to say. And then that leads to healthy competitiveness, healthy playing, and a healthy parent-kid relationship, where you're not this dad that's fighting every coach or every team. Why am my son playing? Why is my son cut? No. Keep it simple in the beginning. Do not complicate yourself. And as you get to high school, I promise you, if your kid is good, the market is going to let you know. And if your kid is middle of the road, the market will let you know. The important part is, remember, because they're kids, there is a physical development that reaches and peaks at different times. That's why you want to keep your athlete, your kid, daughter, son, as engaged as much as possible in the sport, because when they bloom, when it hits, you got them in the sport. Not when they bloom, they hit, they quit 2 years ago because you drove them crazy. That's it. This is my weekend wrap up for you guys. It's Friday. It's 333. So that's a great sign in the spiritual world. If you're into that, please use this message for this weekend. This is my 2 cents per se to take this into the weekend if your kids are playing. It's your coach. I love you guys. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please send me your comments. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments of where this at. If you agree with this, if you don't agree with this, whatever it is, I've given you 10 minutes of love. I love all you guys. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have the best weekend ever. Bye, everybody.